We're out here today on the Tennis Warehouse court testing the New Balance CT Rally 2s. Come check out how we like this update.
As a big fan of the CT Rallies, the original model, I was really excited to try the second generation of these shoes. And really for me, these picked up right where the originals left off. I found lots of comfort. And just like the original version, when I first put my feet into these shoes, I wasn't sure how cushioned they were gonna feel. As walking around the office, they didn't feel like the most plus shoes. But as soon as I started moving on the court, I really appreciated that underfoot cushioning. The Fresh Foam X always felt responsive and did protect my feet really well from running on hard courts. The original model, I was lucky enough to test the D-width model because of my wider feet, but because we got these a little bit early, I only got to try the B-width. I have to say there wasn't a lot of room, but it wasn't uncomfortable for my wider feet. I would opt to go with the D-width, however. I did feel like I was always stable, not sliding around inside of the shoes, not going to tip over. The traction felt like a good balance to me. I never felt stuck, nor was I slipping. These shoes do run a little bit warm, as I would have expected, just because there is so much cushioning. Overall, I'm really enjoying the updated look of these shoes. The upper looks nice and streamlined, and I'm really loving the cushioned ride I'm getting from the CT Rally 2.
I was looking forward to the playtest of these CT Rally 2s as I enjoyed the original version. And first things first is the fit. For me, I found a standard length, so I stayed in my true size 8. I found the width to be a nice medium fit. I actually found improvement in this update with the toe box. I thought it was a little bit wider. It gave me just a little bit extra room and actually really fit my feet nicely. Now, when it came to arch support, I definitely felt some support underneath. I actually felt it almost to the side. And for me, that was one of the things I first noticed in the playtest. And I will say that arch support did compress over the course of the playtest, but I still feel it when I'm moving around. The shoes did have a 3 to 4 hour break-in period to me, and I actually felt the longer I wore these shoes, the better they felt. So by the end of the playtest was a great improvement from the beginning. The upper is a little bit stiff. I did feel that I was having some issues with some heel to toe transition, but they did start to mold and get softer as that playtest wore on. I felt that the ventilation was a little bit warm, and so my overall comfort, I was finding myself taking these shoes off after a hit, but I thought the cushioning was really well balanced underfoot as well as around the tongue and the ankle collar. Now, these shoes offered me great support and stability. I really felt confident moving around in them. They supported my feet well within the shoes, and I also thought the durability was good. This version that we play tested came with a translucent outsole, so it was a little bit for me on the sticky side at the beginning. I do feel like it kind of smoothed out halfway through, and I did notice a little bit unusual wear right around the kind of tip of my toes. But as far as the weight is concerned, they do feel a little bit heavy for me, so I did notice that moving around. They are weighing a little bit heavier than the previous version. So overall, if you're looking for a comfortable, supportive, stable shoe, check this one out.
I was super excited to see this update to the CT Rally. I know the playtest team really enjoyed the previous one. However, before that, I really struggled with those lobs, so I'm never sure what to expect. And when I laced these up, I found they fit my feet pretty perfectly. And as the playtest went on, they actually continued to mold to my feet. They're super comfortable on. I will say the first day I wore them, I was slightly apprehensive and thought maybe this playtest was gonna go sideways. But after that, with a little bit of a break-in, I've been wearing it a lot on and off the court. The shoes, again, are molding to my feet. They feel really comfortable underfoot, nice and responsive, but they're also so supportive and stable. I've started coaching my high school team that I do every year, and that means I'm wearing tennis shoes on the court for several hours. Sometimes I'm jumping in and playing, sometimes I'm just wearing them, and these are shoes I can wear all day and not have any issues. As far as traction and durability, I have absolutely no problems. The traction is awesome. Maybe a little on the stickier side because I really like it, and I know when I like the traction, that means that it can be a little sticky. Durability has been great, but I really, again, am gonna say I love the comfort as well as that support and stability, and I think this is an amazing update. It feels much quicker than the previous version. I haven't actually checked out the weight, but again, more streamlined, even better CT Rally. I'm stoked on it.
The last version of the New Balance CT Rally was a huge hit, so I was super excited to see how the updated version performs. Right out of the box, I honestly felt that the shoes were a bit too stiff for me. I definitely needed probably at least 2-3 hours to break them in, just so I can feel the plush underfoot cushioning I was looking for and I thought I was gonna get, because in the beginning it really did feel stiff. I would say after the hours of probably 2-3 hours of breaking time, they started to mold around my foot, which started to feel really nice and cushioned. I did struggle a little bit in the beginning with finding the right amount of tension around my ankle with the shoelaces, because my problem was that I did experience quite a lot of heel slippage as I was playing. So I really tried to tighten my laces up as tight as possible. The shoe doesn't come with that extra eyelet, so I just had to make this one work. And I tried my best and it took me a little bit, but once I figured out that optimal tension of the shoelace around my ankle and the shoe ended up breaking in a little bit more, like I mentioned earlier, then I started to feel a bit more locked in with my heel as well. Otherwise, when it comes to support, this shoe is absolutely top notch. I felt nice and locked in all throughout the playtest, moving in each direction. I was extremely nicely supported. This will be one of the best supportive shoe options out there right now. When it comes to durability, the upper will hold up super nicely. I didn't see any wear on it, basically at all. But the outsole, unfortunately, I did see some wear on the high wear areas, especially under my big toe. I did play about, at least 15 hours, and I am an aggressive mover, so I could see, that maybe that affected the durability of the outsole. I'm still a little bit surprised by how much wear I'm seeing right now. I will say that the outsole is pretty thick, so it will still take a long time before I wear through them. I do like the traction of the outsole and this special kind of rubber that it provides, so that was absolutely top notch for me. I do wish that the shoe was a bit more on the lighter side, because for me it definitely felt a bit too heavy. But I will say that as the playtest went on, I started to either get used to that heavy sensation underfoot, or maybe just because they molded better around my foot. Towards the end, they started to feel a bit lighter for me. All in all, I think the New Balance CT Rally 2 will be an amazing option for high-performance players looking for something durable, comfortable, and super supportive. Thanks for watching. For more information on these shoes and any others, please go check out Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.